Hello to all my dear SK Foundation students with the exams knocking on the door. You must be super excited, might be a little scared also, a little skeptical, a little like, why is the exams not just coming and getting over with? Some of you might be like, yaar, kyun itni jaldi aa raha hai? All these mixed emotions are there. And when it comes to the law paper, yes, one thing is definitely there. We are so confused how we are supposed to present the answers. How am I supposed to use the 15 minutes of reading time? What should I do? What I shouldn't do? What are the do's and don'ts? So today I'm just going to discuss with you in this 5 or 10 minutes of the video of what you are supposed to do, not supposed to do, what you should take care of, how you are supposed to present the answer, how should you utilize the 15 minutes, what you should not look into at this 15 minutes, what you should, all of this in this next 10 minutes. If this video is useful to you, please leave a like, leave a comment. At least we also know we are going in the right path when it comes to supporting you and helping you. Watch the video till the end. Make sure you don't miss out any of the points. So starting, first of all, how should I use the 15 minutes of my reading time? So, guys, this 15 minutes of your reading time, first of all, don't even read the question one because it's a compulsory question. I anyway have to write it, right? If you are done reading the rest of the paper, then come back to it. But don't start with this. And you know what? Generally, because question number one is compulsory, sometimes you will find this question is a little tricky also. So if you read the first question, it's tricky, you get so confused. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that to yourself. Please leave the first question, go to the rest of the question, read the rest of the paper. Be sure what you're going to attempt in this, next 3 hours. Be prepared that, okay, I'm going to write these answers. And then, if you have time, come back to the first question. If you find first question is easy, it's okay. You can start with the first question, not an issue, right? But in this 15 minutes, when you're reading the paper, you should be very sure of what you're going to write and what you're not going to write, which questions you're going to attempt. Out of the six, you have to attempt any five. So you should be very sure which five you're going to attempt. One is compulsory, the rest four. You should be very sure. Is it mandatory that I have to answer my questions in the sequence? Not at all. Please always start with the answer which you know the best. Two things will happen. Your confidence goes up, and the examiner also, when he reads a good answer, he will have that impression, okay, the child has written well. So he knows you have written well, so he will look into the paper knowing that the child knows his content very well. And obviously, if your first answer is good, the rest of the answer paper would be very smooth sailing. But if your first answer is not good, you will start panicking. So don't start with the answer which you're not very sure of. Start only with that answer you're very sure of. But you don't have to follow the sequence. But if you're writing question 3A, I have actually seen in one paper 3A, 4B, then again 3B. Please don't do all that. As an examiner, I'm not going to look here and there for your paper, right? So please don't do all that. Make sure you're writing, if you're writing three, you're writing all the sub questions of three. Make sure that, right? And one very important thing, please don't forget to write your roll number and all that. I forgot to write. Please, that is, you have to write it first. Don't forget all these things. Then next is so start your new answers with on a new page. Okay. So this is my page. My answer got over here. Ma'am, I'm saving paper. Next answer here. Please don't. Please go to the next paper. Sorry, next page. I'm so sorry. Please go to the next page. But yes, if my answer just gets over here, then you can start it from here. Why to waste the page? But otherwise, if you have used half of the page, please go to the next page. I'm supposed to write like this, but also write like this in case this is not visible. So answer to question 3A1, write it so that it's visible to the examiner which answer you have written. Correct? Now, should I underline the keywords? Should I underline the keywords? Please do. If you are very sure about the keywords, please underline the keywords. You can use your pen itself or you can use a pencil. But please don't use different color pens. Right? Red, green. Please, that was only for our class, not for the examination hall. Please don't waste time. I like clean work. So, I'm using a scale to underline the keyword. Please, you're wasting your time. You don't have that much of time. People are literally fighting to finish the paper. You cannot waste so much of time. So please underline the keywords. Now, because I'm talking about the keywords, let's talk about the language. Your entire answer cannot be in your language. If it is too layman, I will not give you marks. At least 60 to 70% of your answer should be what the act says, right? The key words, the technical terms. Person can be in your own English, but even in your own English, don't make it too common, too vernacularly low. Don't make it too layman. Standardized English hona chahiye, right? But yes, technical words, if you don't write, I have no reason to give you marks. Ma'am, what about section numbers? Ma'am, am I supposed to write the section numbers? If you remember, please go ahead and write. But if you write a wrong section number, that's worse. That's worse. So if you don't remember the section number, please don't write wrong section numbers. But if you remember the section numbers, please go ahead and write it. No one is stopping you. The next is, if my handwriting is too bad, what I'm writing? The Indian Contract Act. Yo, I will use microscope to read this. Please leave space between the words. Some people will write like this, the Indian contract. Are bhai, please leave space. Be clean, be clear. If you're writing now, I cannot overnight tell you, please change your writing. Not possible. But at least you can leave a little bit of gap, a little bit of spacing. Start the next paragraph, leaving one line. If there are multiple provisions, go to the next line for the next provision. Don't have to write everything in the same paragraph. I mean, it's a part of the first paragraph. But you can, so if I have multiple provisions, I have finished one provision here. I finished one provision here. Instead of continuing here, I'll go to the next line and write the next provision. Gives a clarity. Examiner can also see, okay, you have written so many provisions. Correct? Now, so, and please remember the total paper is for 180 minutes and we have 100 marks. I'm not leaving a little bit of time here and there because you might go here and there. Some little time for thinking also you may need. You may drink water. I want to drink water. You may drink water. Some time may pass in that. So please remember 180 marks, 180 minutes, 100 marks. So for every marks, you have 1.5 minutes. So if my question is of 3 marks, the question must be completed in 4.5 minutes. And the answer, the writing of the answer must be completed in 4.5 minutes. Okay. So this is all about how you present. Now, I'm going to discuss a very, very important part here. And what is that important part that I want to discuss is the different types of questions that you get in the paper. The first and foremost that I want to discuss is a case study. You know how important this question is. And in fact, most of your questions are case studies in the paper. How am I supposed to present? I have told you so many times already, but yes, I will again repeat it. It's a 3-para format. You will write the provisions, you will write the facts of the case, and then the last part you will write what? Conclusion. Correct? If it is a 2 marks ka question, also the format has to be followed, but you cannot write too much of facts of the case. You can just do a form, just write the key provision which relates to that case, and then you can just give a conclusion, just defining the case a little bit and what you think is the answer. That is how you should write. Now, coming to provisions part, if it's a 2 marks or if it's a 3-4 marks, see, if let's say the question is based on a locha, okay, and you are writing the answer for 3-4 marks. So how we generally write? We'll first write the rule, and then we'll say there are exceptions, lochas, and then we'll write the locha. But if it's a 2 marks, please don't write the general rule. Directly write the locha. So depending on the marks, you have to decide how you're supposed to write, right? If it is a 5 or a 6 or a 7 marks question, generally it means there are multiple provisions. Generally 5, 6, 7 marks ka question means there are multiple provisions. Right? There are multiple provisions. So make sure you don't miss out in any of the provisions. If there are multiple questions, read all the question, and before you start writing, you should know what all provisions the questions are based on so that you don't miss out anything. If my provisions have points in it, I mean the provisions, the law is something which relates to points. The provisions is about points, like the definition of subsidiary company, small company. Write it in points. Go to the next line, write it. It's a part of the first paragraph, but write it in points. One more thing, if my question has multiple questions and the questions are A, B, C, Then in my provisions, please don't use ABC, because conclusion ABC, provision ABC, bhai, examiner will be confused. Don't write ABC, then write 1, 2. Be sure you don't mix up. Otherwise, he will not know which is conclusion and which is what. Correct? Now, the next part of the question, we always discuss about the case study. If you feel you don't have time, please, facts and conclusion you can kind of put together. Don't have to give too much. Just do an analysis of the case. That's it. Connect the case to the provision, and that's it. Do I need to give headings to my paragraphs? Absolutely no. No headings are required for the paragraph. You can just write it without the headings also. There is no rule that if you write, it's a problem. But even if you don't write, it works. Absolutely. Now, going to the next part, we rarely discuss this theory questions, right? Or we can call it as a direct question. Most of us have a problem as per the provisions of should I start with this or not, right? It's okay. Even if you don't start with this, you can directly go. Let's say the question is no consideration, no contract. I can directly start with every contract must be supported with consideration, right? I can directly start with this. And if I don't want to start, can I also write as per the provisions? Absolutely. But here, there is no three paragraphs. Please, there is no three paragraphs here. It's a direct question. You don't have to write anything. You just have to write the law, whatever it is saying. So now let's say the question is based on no consideration, no contract. I'll just write every contract should be supported. Contract without consideration is void ab initio. However, there are certain lochas. Now it's a point wala answer. So every locha will go into the next line as a point. So every locha will go into the next line as a point. I hope it's clear to all of you. Yes, it should be point wise. Ma'am, am I supposed to write the example? Yes, in some cases it's needed. You should, depends on the marks also. If it is a 7 marks, you should write it. You should write it. If it is a 2 marks question, if they're asking you all the, then only obviously you will just write the headings. But if it's a 7 marks, 6 marks, you have to write, the answer has to be real elaborate, right? Third thing, which is, ma'am, what about differences? This I get from my students so many times. Ma'am, how am I supposed to write the differences? So when it comes to differences, generally institute follows this method of table. But if you will see in the answers of the institute, you will also see they give you bases. So, and the difference of point one and this, I mean, whatever is the difference, they always give a basis also. If you can remember the basis, I'll always suggest you to please use the basis also. If you cannot, go for two. Always the differences, try to write it in table form, because that's how institute also gives, because they give the basis also. So if you can remember the basis, please do write. If you cannot, just write the differences. But if you remember rights of lien and rights of stoppage in transit, okay, they are such where the institute has only given the answer in the, because that is like, the end of lien is the starting of stoppage. Now, if I write it in table, the end of lien is the starting of stoppage, the starting of stoppage is the end of lien, makes no sense. So there you will find that institute itself has given the differences in point, right, rather than table. So there you write in point. Otherwise, differences preferably in point, and that too, if possible, if you remember, with the basis. Okay. And the last, when it comes to Companies Act, or when it comes to liability in joint promisors, or when it comes to co-sureties, there are a lot of calculations also that we have to do, right? When it comes to dissolution of the firm in case of, what do you say, dissolution of the firm in case of dissolution, sorry, the calculation part is there. So whenever the question is based on calculation, here your second paragraph becomes very important. And in this second paragraph, you must show, you must show the calculation. Please. And you don't have to show it just as a part of the paragraph. You can show it. So let's say my question says 20,000 shares are there, holds 5,000. If you need to calculate, you should show, right? That is, he's holding 25%. So here to no calculation. But let's say They have given you members of these are the members of the private company, and what is the total number of members. So in that case, you should show those calculations properly. The examiner should not feel that you have copied the answer from someone. Correct? The calculation has to be shown very clearly. So if they say he will pay only one fourth of his total, so his total contribution is 2 lakh, he will pay one fourth, that is one fourth of 2 lakh, which is equal to 50,000, right? So those calculations have to be shown. So please remember, even though it's not an accounts paper or a maths paper, and you think you don't need to carry the calculator, still in your law paper, kindly do carry the calculator in case there is any issue, any problem, or rather any calculation, you will at least be able to do. And this is the most important point that you need to remember. Don't panic. Stay calm. Remember, you have done your best and are going to give the best and are going to give the best. Just one thing, trust yourself. I have faith on all of you. You'll be doing your best. Happy learning and stay motivated. And all the best to all of you for your exams.